Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.
Garcia continue his rapid ascent.
Campbell.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special, and there's no hype.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. It's a beautiful Monday morning. I'm at the... Beautiful. The offices here of Mr. Billy Joe Saunders. You're not just a boxer, you're quite a businessman as well.
I'm trying, KUGAN, I'm trying. Not much of a businessman with this rain today, mate. Rained off. Very cold, as you can see. Very cold. Very lonely. I need a good present from someone.
Is it going to be a bleak Christmas in the Saunders household?
It's a bleak Christmas for everyone, isn't it? It's a bleak Christmas for everyone. I think that this year's been a bit of a shambles, but hopefully on to bigger and better things next year. Moving forward, Mr. KUGAN.
Let's drop back to Saturday night. We saw Sal Alvarez Canelo with a comprehensive display against Callum Smith. What were your thoughts on the fight? Did anything surprise you? Did it go as you thought it would go?
KUGAN, I'm going to be totally honest. I've only watched the highlights. I don't really take too much watching Canelo's fights because it's not watching him to see what he does good. It's nullifying and not letting him do what he does good is the way to win. And I thought Smith would have held the centre a little bit more from what I've seen, and been a little bit busier because it was a very, very slow-paced fight, and I can understand why there was probably no rehydration clause on Smith to let him go heavier and let him have the power, but to take the snap and the sting away. But listen, he done well. He done his family name proud, and he done himself justice getting in the ring and going 12 rounds, but there was probably a couple of little things if he watched it back. I've only seen the highlights, and I thought he could have done a little bit better. But look, it's one of them. If you have an off night, you have an off night. Like I say, he's moving to 175, I'm hearing. Maybe the weight was a little bit of an arse with 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks notice maybe. So, like I say, he didn't really get a fair crack at the whip, really, did he? If you look at it, 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks notice to go over there and fight the pound for pound number one. But look, it is what it is. He went and done it. He tried. He went and took. He went and tried to do the job, but it didn't plan out the way he wanted to go. So, I suppose he'd be thinking about his next move and with his family and that, and probably moving to 175.
Bill, I know like you just said there, Callum Smith was given 4 weeks' notice for this fight. He would have already kind of been in a pre-camp knowing that potentially this fight was going to happen. But how much of a difference does that make when you are fighting, like you said, elite pound for pound, probably the best fighter in the world currently today in Canelo, if you don't have that kind of full 12-week camp, which is what you'd want, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, he done the weight well, he looked good and all this rubbish. But really, when you're fighting someone like that, you need to get the mind right. You need to get everything right. And, in 4.5 weeks, the only thing they was probably doing is concentrating on getting visas and getting hotels and other bits and bobs and stuff packed. I think you need a good camp just to go there to zone in, really need to zone in for what needs to be done with that sort of job and get your head right, because you have to be 110%. It's no good coming out there and going, I was 90% tonight and that was the extra 10% missing, because you need everything. That's what we work all our lives for, to when we get to that moment, to let everything out, to see what you got. And some nights, if it's not there or you're not prepared right or you ain't had enough notice, it can be effective in the fight.
I know you would never begrudge another man getting an opportunity, even if that meant you didn't get it, and that was kind of the situation here. But were you watching, or say you didn't watch the whole fight, but were you looking at that thinking that really should have been me in there tonight?
Not really, no, because I know that, look, what's meant to be won't pass you, and I knew that from day one, when they started saying we're offering Billy Joe Saunders out in September, we offered him a September date. That was just to fuck around, to take probably the steam off from Callum, because the September date didn't happen, and they probably knew deep down that wasn't happening. So I knew I'll always be ready for December, but when I didn't hear anything, it was getting a bit later on in the year, I said to my management, MTK, we all made the decision to, let's just move on, let's not wait around, and obviously got the fight with Murray. But look, good luck to Callum Smith. Never, ever, ever would I set back and think, it should have been me, because he deserved his chance as well. He's done some good things in the sport, and, he got the chance. So hopefully now I text Eddie and said, look, let's make the fight, and my management, MTK. So hopefully the fight can get made now. There's no bigger fight to be made at the weight.
I was talking to Peter Fury yesterday, and he made the point that Callum Smith is unified champion, Ring Magazine #1, so he's got all the kind of credentials in that respect. But he said him going against Canelo is almost like the difference in experience between the two, who Canelo's been in the ring with over the space of like 50 or 60 fights compared to where Callum's been in his career. There was a vast difference. How much of a factor was that going into the fight?
No, I don't think it's experience, because you can't get as much, you can't ask for much more experience at that level than what Callum's got. And Callum should have really used a little bit more size and his advantage. But I just felt, when I was watching it, I just looked at it and thought, it looks like a cruiserweight pace. The fight was a cruiserweight pace, and it was a little bit, it was just a little bit slow. And that's what Canelo loves. When you're just going to stand there and, you want to walk around and let 1 or 2, 3 go. We know Callum's strong, but Canelo's an explosive counter-puncher. So if you're just going to stand there and let him fight at a slow pace, he's going to counter-punch with effect. And you need to keep him busy, active, thinking. You need to get little triggers going. And I just think that Callum missed that. I mean, I think he was only out there, a week before the fight. I've been out there before. I've been to LA before, and it took me 10 days. I wasn't out there 10 days. It took me, I was on about Canada there. It took me 10 days to get in line there with time zones. And in LA, I didn't get it after a week, 6 days. But I was still very tired. So, look, there's a load of things you look into. Look, really, Callum Smith should have been out there in Vegas or wherever he boxed, Texas, for the last 4 weeks. And he only got 4.5 weeks' notice. So, look, I'm not going to take anything away from Canelo. It was a great performance. He's a great champion. He's done big, big things for the sport of boxing. And he's kept us up there, in big talks in boxing, because, the big fights he's been involved in, and he's a big name. But I'm not going to take anything away from Canelo from the win, because it's all deserved and all worked hard for. But there's a couple of little things I'd like to try a little bit different.
During the fight, obviously, Callum sustained a bicep injury, which, a few people clocked that during the fight, actually, but the majority of people realised that after the fight. But, how much of a factor? If you're going to go in against someone like Canelo, that's not... You want everything kind of in your favour as much as you can, so him sustaining that wouldn't have helped either.
No, definitely not. But look, it's one of them. It's an injury, it happened, and... we don't know the extent of the injury yet, obviously, but it looked very, very bad, as we've seen. And was that his left hand, his jab? Well, left or right, either way, you still want 2 hands fighting Canelo. But even if it's his jab, you need that jab. And I just felt that he just let Canelo take his space a little bit. And like I say, look, no one knows the full extent. Do I blame him for taking the fight really from a financial point of view? No. The setback is made. People can say he didn't do this, he didn't do that, but the man's done brilliant things in the sport, and he's earned himself that retirement check to lay down. And if he wants to make a move and box again, he can. If he don't have to. But I feel there's more left in him. Maybe it's not the weight. Maybe he just didn't have enough time to prepare. Maybe he wasn't 100%. He felt he were 100% and felt he could win the fight. But actually being prepared to do so and to think is a million miles away.
Is that why you took yourself out of the running a few months ago? Because if you was in the running, that you would have only have been kind of given possibly 4 or 5 weeks when the fight was announced?
I think we was like 6 weeks out, KUGAN, and I had no trainer around me, no nutritionist around me, no proper gym around me, nothing like that. So I'm not going to put myself into the firing line to undo everything I've ever done in life in boxing. If I get beat by the better man, I could sleep at night and go, do you know what? I've done everything in in my powers to do. I got beat by a better man. He's a better man than me. But I've been believing for so many years now, and I've been believing I can beat Canelo. And I believe in my own heart that I've got the tools to do the job. And if I didn't get in there and do it, it would be absolutely gutting to do. Gutting thing to live with, obviously, if I made the decision of, I'm just going to go there and pick a few quid up, you know? And hope to be all right. You know, I need to make sure to be prepared to beat that man, and I will. And I will. So I'm just waiting now, obviously, for the chance. If not, then obviously we move on to the next step. But I won't be waiting around long. If the fight wants to get done and made, you know, I'm sure that I know we're in the Christmas period now, but before the next 2 weeks, the fight definitely needs to be in strong talks, or if not sealed. Otherwise, we're going to have to move on.
We saw Canelo, a clip, I don't know if you saw the clip of Canelo walking past Eddie Hearn, saying to him, who's next? And obviously, who's next kind of suggests you, but you spent this whole year almost waiting for this fight that didn't materialise. Is that what you don't want to happen in 2021? Kind of, if it's not going to happen, concentrate on whoever else and kind of move on for the situation rather than wait months and months for a fight that may or may not happen.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've got another good fight who's in line. I mean, Andrade's talking about stepping up to 12 stone. He is and he's not at the minute, but if not, I'm sure that's the other big fight that can be made quite easily and quickly, and then he can put them pieces together very sharp, because we're both under contract to the same TV network, and you know, I think we both want the fight as well. So it's not, you know, there's no hiccups in that fight to be made.
He was very vocal during the week about you. I think he putting out several tweets with some very bizarre tags in the tweets to random people around the world. But yeah, he seems like he's very adamant that he wants that fight with you, Demetrius Andrade. Yeah,
look, you know, why not? It's a chance to be three-time world champion. You know, he'll be getting paid a lot more than obviously his mandatories at middleweight. And it's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know, people seem to think he's been avoided. People seem to think I've been avoided. So put the avoided together and see what you get.
What did you make of the whole situation regarding him and Liam Williams as well?
Look, I can understand Andrade's point of view, really. You know, Williams, he's not been at world-class level. I think he'd admit that himself. You know, he's very eye-catching to the fans at a certain level. But when we get up to another level, as we've seen in Smith, he just fell under par. So, you know, I think that, you know, Williams needs to, you know, concentrate and push him for his shot, obviously, for the world title. But whether it be against Andrade, I don't know, because I can obviously see Andrade's point of view of financial side to fight me rather than him, because it's a hell of a lot more money. And I think he's got Munguia then, which is another tough, hard fight probably for less money than Andrade. So probably Williams probably wants Andrade instead of Munguia as well, I suppose.
So since Saturday night, what conversations have you had, first of all, with Eddie Hearn? We obviously know your management, MTK, will be dealing with all this, but have you had any conversations with Hearn?
No, I had a good conversation with my management team the very next day. You know, just we had a catch up, and we're pushing very, very hard for the fight from both sides, for the Canelo fight. So I text Eddie. Obviously, I think he's just landed back this morning, so he's been a busy man. But I'll let him get his next couple of days out of the way, his Christmas bits together, and be on the phone trying to get this fight made. Because, you know, I'm missing that big defining fight now. That big to get your hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and I think that you'll see the best of me. And you know, a lot of people, you know, can talk a good game, but when it comes to it, can't find a way. Where I've never been in the ring before in my life and never found a way. Whatever it is, sparring, fighting, you know, wherever it's been, I've always found a way. And I think that's what you've got to have in life to beat someone like Canelo Alvarez. You've got to have more than just a boxing brain and boxing ability. You've got to have that craft around you, that all-round craft. And it's a good fight, and I think it's a fight that should happen. You know, it's a unification. It's one of the biggest fights out there now, so why not get the deal done?
When people talk about you, and I've heard a lot of people say this over the years, that you're the man to trouble Canelo, you're the man to kind of give Canelo nightmares and all this, but sometimes that might not be enough. So why are you so convinced that you're the man that actually beats Canelo?
KUGAN, I would love to be in a situation where it sounds a little bit, I don't know, it sounds a little bit weird really. I'd like to be in a situation where I think, fuck me, I don't know what to do here. Now think of something. From A to Z, then you probably got to undo another gear somewhere. I don't know, like I've never been in that situation. I've never been in that situation. And I believe on my night, I've got every tool in the box to beat Canelo Alvarez. And if I wanted to get my money, I could have got my money a couple of times and fucked off. You know, it's not about that. You know, it's not just about the money. You know, the money comes with that. But, you know, the chance to say that, you know, let me win that fight and let me take all them belts home, you can keep the money. Keep it. Have it. I'll give it away. You can have it back. But give me a fair result. And, you know, you can't take anything away from him. You have to give credit where it's due. And I have to take my hat off to him and salute him and say, look, he's a great champion. He's a good fighter. He's got a good team around him. But I just feel that I've got the beating of him. And I think I watched it again and, you know, on them highlights, when I was watching it, it was very slow. Like, it was too... You can't fight at that pace with Canelo. Impossible to fight at that pace with him. Because an heavyweight come unstuck. Never mind Callum Smith. You cannot afford to fight at that pace with him. And I think that was a big letdown really for me, because I thought that Smith was going to come out and, you know, pick the pace up who did against Groves. I know Groves was old and worn and torn and that and done, but, you know, look, he can set back, he can go home and can put his feet up and say, look, I'll give it my best on the notice I got took and give it on. You know, he didn't get really a fair crack at the whip, and I got to salute him as well. So, you know, but there shouldn't be a reason why this fight can't be made now. So I know that MTK is very confident the fight can be made, as well as Eddie Hearn. So let's get it on.
In action the night before Canelo was Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Did you watch any of the highlights from his fight?
I didn't really watch it, no. Not even highlights.
Is that an option for you for 2021 as well? It's a fight that's obviously you've been linked with for years as well.
KUGAN, I'm realistic. I'm very, very realistic. I don't lie to myself, and I'm very, very honest. I know that fight's never going to happen because there's too much money on the line for him to fight Alvarez and probably say see you later. Probably after the Alvarez fight. If he had the Alvarez fight next and I had my fight and won and, you know, Alvarez didn't want it and he was on the table, he probably would take it. But I know it's not going to happen anytime soon with me and him because he's getting that age now where he don't want someone young, fresh around him, bouncing around. He wants someone standing in front of him and going to have it with him. And probably that's the Canelo Alvarez style suits him. You know, stand in front of him, have a bit of a trade-up. It's a good fight, but it's a bit boring now, isn't it? You know, I thought Golovkin won the first fight. If it had been 1-1, it would have been something you could have said, oh, yeah, let's have a third one. But a draw and a win for Canelo is pretty much saying you're not ever going to get a win here. So it is what it is, mate.
Just before I do let you go, I do want to flash back to not this week and the weekend before. Anthony Joshua knocked out Kubrat Pulev. It seems like...
What round? Was it?
Round 9. Round 9. It seems like another piece is in the jigsaw to make the AJ Fury fight. Well, what was your assessment of his win?
Yeah, good win. Again, another one doing big things for the British boxing scene. Anthony Joshua, you have to take it off to him because, you know, he put in a good performance, a good shift, and keeping the sport in the spotlight. So, you know, it's I can't wait to see him in Tyson fight. Can't wait, and I'm sure that it's that much money on the line, and there's that much revenue to be collected from this fight that everybody can afford to eat. So I'm sure that both parties, BT Sport and Sky Sports, can work together as well.
What did you make of Joshua kind of not really being that vocal in people's opinion about Tyson Fury after he knocked out Pulev? That was picked up on, talked about quite a lot over that week.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, just because he don't talk about it doesn't mean he don't want it. You know, there's a lot of money to say a man don't want, and a lot of attraction to a sport what you love to say, look, a man don't want that. So, you know, I take that as a pinch of salt, really. I'm sure that he's just as eager to make it as Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn's been very vocal about the fight in recent weeks, so, You know, I suppose he's leaving it to his team to sort out. Same as me, I leave my stuff to my team, MTK, to sort out. And it's just less of a headache and hassle, really. You know, when you've got a good management company, it's just one of them where you can sit back and think, do you know what, I haven't got to worry, I have a deal with it. And I think that's the sort of situation that Anthony Joshua's put himself in. He's built a good team around him and he's letting them take care of business. But
you stick to what you've been saying for numerous years, that you still feel Fury beats AJ?
Me 50 grand still on, and I'll have plenty more if he wants it. Mr. Hearn, let's have it, let's get the bet on. Let's up the stakes.
Yeah?
100%.
What would you up the stakes to?
Listen, let's up the stakes, whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. I'll up the stakes because I just know that, you know, Tyson's a special breed of creature when it comes to boxing, and, you know, we're cut from the same cloth. It's one of them. I know he'll always find a way, and it's very hard to get that in boxers now, to find a way. You know, we've seen it over so many years, and we ain't seen a heavyweight like that for the past, 10 years? Since, Lennox Lewis, really? So, yeah, I think that's it's one of them. It's one of them. It's a good fight, and rightly so. It should happen. So I'm hoping 2021 we can see that. It's just a shame about all the fans nonsense, isn't it? No more fans. And
okay, a few days before Christmas, have you got any positive message to put out to people that have supported you, people that haven't supported you, just people in general?
No, listen, I've got to say, all have a good Christmas. Hope you have a safe one, and happy New Year. Hopefully some big fights to look forward to in 2021. But the main thing is obviously our family's health and strength. Everyone's happy and content, and health. Health's good. So that's the main thing. So God bless you all and have a good Christmas.
And a final message to Canelo?
Let's dance 2021. Let's go. See who the daddy is. God bless you all. Adios amigos, KUGAN. Adios amigos, brother.
And Ryan Garcia continue his rapid ascent.
Campbell. This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special, and there's no hype.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.